Hey guys, so this is something a bit more personal to my game and hopefully it kind of inspires you, or even inspires you to share your game. Because again, if you were to download 100 different Skyrims, none of them would be the same. And I want to show you the personal side to my game, the kind of characters that make it. So at the moment, I'm trying to start the Companion's questline. I thought I'd do a Red Guard male. Companion's questline is very boring in a sense that it's like 4 missions and it's done. But I want to show you guys some shit before I go into that quest line, and this is sort of like the personal characters like Sigund and Brianna and their little bear claw battalion. I've got to fix some boots up on the officers. Something's replaced them. This is where they are at the moment. They're at this keep. It's called Mistwatch, I think it's called. It sits on the border between the Rift and Eastmarch. And it's run by bandits, but if you kill the bandits, they don't respawn, so it's a perfect place to settle down some troops. Now, I want to show you some places, some things that kind of make it personal. All these characters, all these soldiers are named followers, you know. Brianna's one of the playable classes, and the whole idea, well, I've said this in a different video, all these guys are close-knit sort of family friends of the battalion. It's not like the Legion where, you know, 10 soldiers die, they can find the best of some other soldiers and replace them. These guys are all pretty much family and friends, you know, of Sigund and Brianna's grandmother, associates of their, you know, Salty Fist. He was the companion of Tova's, as sort of the backstory.
You're someone who
so
can get things done.
So always,
I like
a lot of these people worked for their grandmother, Tova. That used to be Tova right there, before I changed her. So I'm going to show you something. A couple places that are a bit personal. Maybe you might like them. And the mods that contain in this will be burial corpses and Jackson's position.
Friend.
Alright, here we are. So this place is actually an Imperial camp when the Empire doesn't own the Pale, Dawnstar. And this is where I kind of bury the Stormcloak followers. Now there's only 4 of them compared to the Imperials, which is so much more. Now if Sigund's, like I said, Sigund's Bearclaw Battalion, they're personal, they're friends and family. You know, they're pretty much, you know, they're people that are associated with Tova that follow the girls, and their children, and, you know, people that have a similar hatred, or not all of them are friends and family, but they're all close-knit sort of like. And I made them stronger, so, you know, they could stand up against some Imperial cohorts that I've run into with only like a limited amount of followers. But they do die. And the first one we lost was, we actually saw one of the parents, the woman, up on the top, Oath Hilt. This is her son. And right here, so I bury them, and because again they are personalised followers, and I do want to remember them. I mean, like I want to go to the, well, that's gross. I want to go to I want to go to the gravesite and see the name and remember how they died and how they lived. Since I do make them, it's kind of, you know, crap to spend, I don't know, say 5 minutes making 10 of them. Actually, 5 minutes making 3 of them, and then they just die and disappear, and you can forget who they were, and that kind of sucks. So, you know, if I was going to have a personalised army, I needed a personalised, you know, followers, which were going to be named NPCs. And in my latest one, I recently attacked Riften as the Bearclaw sisters, and my only orc died. My only orc in the Bearclaw Raiders died. I don't know if I've ever shown her in a video, but I kind of wanted her to be like a unique character, just like Labius, where, you know, her backstory was that her tribe of orcs that worship Malakath were told to move by the High King, and they didn't, and they refused, and the High King sent the Legion, and the Legion went in swinging and butchered her tribe and pretty much burnt it down, put down a mine there, like a mining camp, but then it pretty much went to shit within the space of a couple of years and was abandoned. And, you know, she joined up with the cause, not because of religion, not because Skyrim's for the Nords. She's as much a Skyrim citizen as any other Nord, and not for religion, but she had a burning hatred for the High King and any associate of his, and of course, the Legion. And she died for Greenwall, fighting off a cohort at the front gate. This is my sort of thing, right here. Spelling is going to sometimes be fucked, and the grammar's definitely fucked, but, I like to write up all this sort of stuff, and it just reminds me of who they were, and you know, what situation they died in. This is an officer. Oh, yep. He died fighting the Riften too, just like her. Alright, so I'm going to take you to the next one, and the next one's going to be my Imperial one. It's going to be a lot bigger, as you'll see. Let's have a look. Alright, so here is where I bury my Imperial soldiers. And this is the only place in all Skyrim that I could find was actually flat. And it's pretty much right beside that war monument in Whiterun, right here. And it's right beside like a worshipping area of Xenophar. I might change it to arcade just for shits and gigs. But as you can see here, quite a few followers have died. Now a lot of these guys have personal sort of stories to me. The very first one that died, I actually had an idea for him, if he was to survive the Civil War, that he would become a priest of Kine or Kinnereth. And he would never kill another person ever again. So I was going to put him in like the kind of temple and just set him up with an AI, or with my home as your home. Put him in the temple and just live there. And walk around and just live his life as a pacifist. All these characters have stories, man, and decorating their tombs can definitely take some time. I put Imperial coins above their tombs, sort of like if they worship Talos, secretly they had this type of Septim's face up, and if they believed in the 8, they had the diamond or the dragon. This one right here, man, this one right here. Now, let's have a look at the thing. You can pause if you want to read it. Like I said, my spelling in English isn't always on point. Here we go. Now the cool thing about her is I actually played as her when she died. I didn't play as her when she died, but I did that Dawnstar mission where you need to go and deliver fake evidence to the captain of the Stormfist, and so I went and did that mission as her because again it's not going to look really legit, an Imperial walking in with Stormcloak armor. It's going to look a bit sus. So I decided I'll be a bit immersive and I'll play as a Nord. And I got back to base, switched back control to Senturos, put back her armor on, and then a friggin' Stormcloak banner came out of nowhere, and there was like friggin' 30 of them, and she got butchered in the process of putting her armor back on. Freshly Imperial, we got ambushed by an Imperial by a Stormcloak banner, and she died. And this one right here, this one was just one of those LGBT characters that I made. LGB, I don't really do the whole TQ fucking I thing. I made her like a lesbian Nord that was married to a Argonian, and I made that they lived in Windhelm. That's how they kind of met as best friends, and they got old. They got a bit closer. They didn't really understand, and they got secretly married. And the hardcore Nords of Windhelm were like pro Ulfric, pro Nord. Woman and man plus, and especially a Nord woman wasting herself on an Argonian, let alone another woman, was just enraging to them. So they tried to hunt him and kill him, and they joined the Empire to kind of free Skyrim of that bigotry, or free Windhelm, and live their lives peacefully. And once the war was done, but she died. She died with her. She died on the battlefield, and her wife was pretty much on her knees right beside her corpse because she got badly wounded too, and she was just around her corpse. And it was kind of magical and very heartbreaking. Her name. You can pause that if you want. It's Ambermead, and so I got the Ambermead. Oh my god. FPS has just died. Right there, and a wedding ring, and a sword. Her wife's still alive. I've given her some scars and some burns for updates, and updated her health and her weapon damage, so she's like a proper rageful, not a lusty Argonian, but a rageful Argonian. And these are just guys that just Imperial soldiers that were put onto the 95th, which is Senturos' legion. The 95th cohort had just died. I didn't really care about writing a big story up, just described how they died. Got some archers. The latest one's actually an archer that died. Man, it was awesome. It sucked that he died, but how he died was amazing. Let's go look at him right now. So here I am, not playing as him, playing as Senturos. I'm going into Markarth, but I'm taking this route right here through the valley of the mountains. I'm not paying attention to where I am. Walking right through here. I turn my camera backwards to look at all my followers, and I've got fucking 40 plus of them, man. I'm going into Markarth, and just before I take a picture, all I hear is and just an arrow storm coming up from above us, and it's just raining arrows on us, and we're getting the shit kicked out of us. Every single one of them, there's a sword shield character, just goes up against the mountain and hugs the mountain so they can't get shot by arrows. And a few of my guys got hit hard enough to where they were put on their knees, and they're trying to crawl away. And this poor bugger, who was actually 'cause he could fight him, he was shooting back at him, so he was a target that could have been easily shot at by the Stormcloaks, and they put him on his knees, and I think they did kill him. I'm not too sure he died of bleed damage, but they definitely did put him down, and I had to get everyone else close back, and man, it was nuts. It was like some Michael Bay shit. This might get bigger. I don't know what I'm going to do with like the Dragon Wars. Like, am I going to bury those that died of dragons here? Because I'm planning on at least getting it over here, making it a little bit bigger, and then when it's finally done, I might add like a pillar or so, just kind of structure it off a bit like those over there with some Imperial flags on it. But this sort of stuff's personal to me. Like, you know, this is kind of the stories I make with these followers, because like I said, man, I want them to be soldiers, but I want them to be personalised like followers. Like, going into battle with 40 levels list soldiers is, they die, they despawn. It's just very boring, it's very empty. It's got no feeling to it. This certainly does. You know, these are people that I created. People, you know, and look how sensitive I'm getting to it. These are NPCs that I created that some have their own little backstories, or what will happen if they survive. If they survive, you know. I just made her and an Argonian married each other because I thought, why not? It'd be a bit different. And she died, and the Argonian character is like now kick-ass Imperial captain. All sorts of different stuff, man, and I like it. I like it. So, let's go and have a check out of some of the bases. You've already seen the front of the Bear Claws. They're a hell of a miswatched keep. Again, the Empire and the Stormcloaks are very different. The Empire, if 10 troops die, or they hold territory down, they can live in a very good place. So, the Imperials, again, 10 die, they can get them replaced, and they live in a very good place called Skyforge Castle. Alright, welcome to Skystone Castle, made by Skyrim Laz. If you're interested in these castles, he's got plenty of them, plenty of good ones, even some smaller homes, which is awesome too. His latest one's called Stormwatch, sits there watching the border. Anyway, here we are. Hopefully there's no naked NPCs walking around, but here's all these soldiers. Some of them have their own personal stories. This guy's part of a wealthy Imperial
Good to see you.
military family. Let's see if we can find any living ones that are kind of noteworthy. This is a mage. She's married to another mage. Battle mage. That's a little arm that I meshed together with new Legion armor.
It's always good to see someone I can count on.
Sexyless.
Good to see you.
He was one of my first. I'm pretty sure he's one of my very first follow that I made back in like 2012. He might be. No, it might not.
You've been a good friend to me.
No, it's not.
That means
he's an
something.
original because I haven't changed the name. Kids area, but of course, no kids. So this is their sort of personal place to live in. Senturos might be inside, but he's naked. I'm pretty sure. Last time I checked, didn't update his outfit. This her? No, it's not.
Hello, friend.
I did recently start putting some Argonians in just for the sake of immersion. You know that some don't like the treatment from the Nords and they
It
fight.
is our most favorite company.
But I want to find that orc. I want to find that Argonian, man. She looks sick as. She's like a black skin, red eyes, like proper looking.
Good
mad
to
bitch.
see you.
Is one of my vampires? Yes, I believe the Empire would definitely recruit vampires since they're like elite soldiers. You know, an arrow won't fall them, and
Hello, friend.
they're going to be trained in bloodlust and stuff. He was actually in my last game. He was actually a rebel.
May the gods watch
But then
over your
again,
back, my
I've
friend.
got a couple rebels that were once Imperials in different playstyles. Bull.
Hello, friend.
Let's go have a look inside. Hopefully we'll try and dodge the naked people, but we'll have a look and see how that goes. Or I'll just re-enable their clothes back on them.
Need something?
A fine day to you, friend. May you die with a sword in your hand.
She's pretty. Alrighty. Think I fixed up the naked people. Hopefully. So, a lot more characters in here, some more vampires, of course. Now, I think this is 30.
morning.
30 was cool. So, I only created 30 because I wanted to try like a different, like a sort of style with a body shape. Now that I could actually like, had the NPCs go from weight 10 to weight 100 without a weird little head seam with Protheseus, I wanted to create a character that was a farm girl that was imprisoned by bandits, and she was imprisoned by bandits, and she had like a mercenary friend that was also imprisoned with her, like another mercenary that was captured, and her name was Allura. I gave them unique bodies, and her and Allura basically the whole thing was that they, you know, the Senturos saved them, during the Dragon Crown quest to get back to Solitude, and then decided to join. She trained, you know, for like a few months in between, you know, before Senturos was elevated to a Vanguard, which was, I think, the Battle of Whiterun. Allura died in Valkreath, and so she took a sword and, you know, basically fights with it. She's a very good soldier. And here are some of the soldiers. Now here she is right here. This is the wife of the Nord I showed you. Now, I've given her a bit of extra health and a bit of extra weapon damage, and she's covered in scars, man. She's got burns on her and all sorts of stuff. The whole thing I like with her, man, is like, you know, anything wearing the Stormcloak blue is covered in a pool of red, you know, sort of thing. You know, the vampire?
Good morning.
He's got fangs, you can kind of see. I kind of have that, oh, here we go. There's Senturos, but he's not showing his junk, which is awesome. You, my friend, need Jesus. Don't dare get up. Alright.
How's it going?
Yeah, just so many different characters. That girl we saw outside the door, that's just her mother.
Hello, friend.
A Nord warrior, a veteran. My only wood elf. My only wood elf. And he's actually a warrior. Can't go down there because as we're going to see, there's a lot of naked NPCs. Because it's like the undressing pool area down there.
May your next fight bring you victory, friend.
There is an orc. It's actually a vanilla NPC. He's one of the orc followers you can get. His brother runs a tribe. And I thought, why not recruit actual NPCs
Good to
into this?
see you again.
And so I'm actually going to go to Whiterun and pick up some followers, like the Battleborn, make him an officer, and maybe the mercenary, the Red Guard, as like, you know, he's like, he'll join the Legion if he gets paid, and if he dies, his family will get paid. A bit like ordinary Legionnaires, but like a little bit different to where like he gets paid a little bit more to risk his life as a mercenary. He's the wife of the High Elf over there. She moved by the looks of it. No, there she is. Shit, what else can I show you? Oh, thought she was naked then. Another vampire battle mage.
What do you need, my friend?
They're fucking hot, man. I don't care what you say. Livia, she's a Vanguard, another
Speak.
Vanguard. A Vanguard is like elite Imperial soldiers, front line, sort of like, you know, more of like a heroic role where it puts fear into the enemy and encourages the current troops. She's an older one, so she earned it probably during the Great War.
Need something?
Orcs do like to join the Legion, of course. I think he's the niece of that woman. No, Winter's Bane. No, he's his own. He's his own fella. But he's a ginger. He's got no soul, so when you cast a soul trap on him, it won't work. No, it will. He's an ancient or elder vampire.
You're someone who can get things done. I like
Face is all fucked up. Man, what else can I really show you? Like, there's not much I can really do. Because again, NPCs down there are naked, and YouTube's all against that. And I couldn't be bugging, man, putting like YouTube videos up on Pornhub. Like that's just a no-go. But yeah, it's sort of personal. So I wish I could show you a little bit better of Siggun's group, but it's like they live in a shithole, you know, in some rustic old fort where Senturos is a group. Senturos over here, which is my main character.
Not sure you belong here, citizen.
Which is also an NPC. And if you hide the gav in the eye, it looks like anus.
My friend died. Things won't be the same.
He runs this with Marilia, but I don't know where the hell
I'm
Marilia
waiting.
went. Marilia Tullius. This is an east of General Tullius. But this is generally just where I kind of run my base of operations for the Imperials, and I'll take a bunch of them out. 2 or 3 might die. Sometimes none of them will die, which is kind of good, you know, because at the end of the day I don't have to bury the bastards. But I like to advance certain characters, like I want her to become a Vanguard, but to become a Vanguard, it'll be very much like Livia, to where I'll actually have to play as her, and if I die, she dies. I'll turn into a ghost, and then I'll bury her as Senturos. So I really like that feature, and it's from alternate actors. I did a video on it like a couple of weeks ago, where you're able to jump into an NPC. It's what I do with my main characters, and if I jump into her and she actually dies in the field of battle, I'll turn to a ghost. Her body will be laying on the ground, and I'll have to jump into someone else to take control of them. If any of them survive, that is. And then take the dead and bury them. Anyway, I hope you've liked this sort of little personal touch to my game. It's sort of what, you know, makes it what it is. I'm going to be playing Tonrock right here. and he's going to become a companion. He was a mercenary. Did a couple of missions with him with some random followers that died, and their bodies in a dungeon, and they resurrected, and they're now bad. Yeah, don't have to really tell you, really. Apart from, there's not much else to really show when it comes to the personal side of followers. I do have an old Mary group, but I only use them to kill Talos worshippers, and I recently went and murdered the poor bastard in Windhelm, put an arrow in his back, which is a bit rough, but that's the job. Got my assassin's character. He doesn't have followers. He's a loner. Yeah, I'm gonna get the companion's character done. And I'm gonna move on to the Thieves Guild. I'm thinking of going an Imperial female again, or maybe a Wood Elven female. I don't know. I really liked Milia though. I really liked her. Her face is lost, but I might be able to mimic something similar to it. I don't know. I'll check it out. But anyway, I hope you guys like this. I'm out of here.